If you're watching this, I need you to know that I love you. You are a great supporter of this channel and these efforts and the things I do for you guys. I hope you're thankful. Welcome back to Movie Health Community, the internet's #1 source of health warnings at the movies. Little story for this video. My mom's favorite movie of all time is The Godfather. And I think The Godfather 2 is a package deal with that. With that in mind, Francis Ford Coppola is one of her favorite directors. I have never seen a brand new Francis Ford Coppola movie in the theater with my mother until just now. I literally just got home from seeing Megalopolis with my mother. Now there's a lot to talk about with this movie, but first off, let's talk about if Megalopolis is safe for photosensitive audiences. The answer is no. Oh my God, no. This movie had so many scenes that were filled with constant strobe effects. So many scenes where cameras were flashing from all directions, multiple scenes with thunderstorms going on, couple scenes with police lights at night, the strobing style police lights, not the spinning style or the fading style. There were nightclub strobe lights, and yeah, these filled entire scenes, and I would say at least a good 3 out of every 5 scenes was just covered nonstop in these strobe effects. A late scene takes place on a subway and the light is always flickering very severely during this scene. Needless to say, this movie gets a 10 out of 10 for flashing lights. There was no consideration for photosensitive audiences. Don't worry, you guys are not alone in the audiences this movie was not made in consideration of. In terms of motion, there's actually not a lot going on. There is one shot that it starts at a Dutch angle and slowly and disorientingly tilts like that. But the biggest motion trigger on this movie is acrophobia, fear of heights. There are scenes where there are sheer drops beneath where people are from the tops of skyscrapers. If you've ever seen those old photos of the construction workers sitting on the I-beams that are suspended while constructing the Empire State Building, that is replicated in this movie. Then in terms of mental health, there's a lot of incestual action going on, a lot of attitudes and actions with that in mind. The opening scene of this movie involves what is most likely a suicide attempt. There's an insinuation that a sex act may have been performed with a minor in this story. I don't really care about spoilers here, so I'm just gonna drop spoilers. It is later revealed that the person was not underage. So now that we've got the evaluation out of the way, let's get to what the bulk of this video is gonna be about. The feelings I expressed at the beginning of this video, I've only ever had one other movie leave me feeling like that, and that was Cats from 2019. And that is because Cats had so much good talent behind it, so much proven, really good talent behind the camera and in front of the camera and in the orchestra, which, to be fair, the orchestra did nothing wrong in Cats. But that movie makes so many preventable, terrible decisions that had to go through so many channels of people saying, yes, let's do this, yes, let's do this, and so many people signing off on these bad decisions. Now, Francis Ford Coppola, I will grant, he has earned kind of that position of, I want to make a movie and I want to make it my way with no questions asked. So I will blame that on why there are so many terrible ideas and so much poor execution of these ideas that really the only person to blame here would be Francis Ford Coppola. He's been trying to make this movie for literal decades, and now that he's made it, how is this what he's been sitting on all these years? It's supposed to be some kind of allegory involving the Roman Empire and America, and if he's been making this for multiple decades, there are very obvious parallels to trends that have only been happening in the last 8 years or so. But when it tries to do the allegories and connections to modern day America, there's a better movie that does that at the end in a just as obvious way, if not a more obvious way, and that movie is BlacKkKlansman. The ending to BlacKkKlansman is done so well, even if it is a little in your face. This movie tries to do that again with some of its modern messaging, and it's not coherent. I can't tell who the intended audience of this movie is, and I can't tell what possessed Francis Ford Coppola to make some of the decisions he makes. There's a lot of drug and alcohol abuse that happens in this movie, which the stylization of the scenes depicting the effects of drugs, I was actually a big fan of that. That's one of the few things in this movie I actually really liked, is just some of this creative imagery that we get during these hallucinations. But then just this one scene involving Shia LaBeouf had me hysterically laughing just because of how much fun it looks like he and his co-star are having making this scene, but it's so disturbing just what's going on and what's being said, and they're going all in on this scene. And so just to see the way they're going all in on this scene is wonderful, but it's such a terribly written and terribly conceived. Like, the scene itself is a bad idea. I guess the only other positive for this movie that I have is it's not a forgettable type of terrible. Like, I've seen some really terrible movies this year that I'm not gonna be thinking about. I'm not even gonna remember the titles of what the other bottom movies at the end of this year, when I do my top 10 worst movies of the year, a lot of those movies I'm never gonna think about again after I make that video. But when this movie ends up on that list, well, that won't be the last time I'm thinking about just how bad this is. I'm worked up a little emotionally. It's not a crying tremble of my voice. It's just, how did this happen? I'm gonna give Megalopolis an F. Thank you so much to our readers on Tumblr and Facebook, and as always, an extra special thanks to our patrons over on our Patreon page, whose names are scrolling on the screen like credits right now. $5 patrons, always remember, you can request a video like this to be made on any movie, availability pending. As a reminder, nothing produced by Movie Health Community is medical advice, nor has any of it ever been reviewed by any medical professionals. Be sure to leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we post new videos, and leave a comment if you have literally anything to say about this movie. I want to hear what you have to say. And as always, stay safe at the movies.